All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'm standing, might as well stay standing, Bob. All right, I'd like to call our September meeting, to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, that was a band lead. Not good. We good, Chris?
Yes.
All right. Make sure. All right. We started this evening with our approval of our prior town board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion to approve?
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. On to the clerk's report. Tracy, if you would, please.
Big month. Town clerk's report, August 2021. Dog licenses for the town, $35. Building permits, $2,458.40. Certificates of occupancy, $200. Town clerk fees, we've done a record number of marriage licenses this year. We've done 3 for a total. This year, 2 of which are on this report, $35 for the town. Certified copies, $50. Interest, 4 cents. Solid waste, $1.50. Planning board, you had a site plan review, $75. A minor subdivision, $250, and another site plan review at $75. Zoning board, special use permit, $100, and a ZBA application of $75. Total for the general fund was $3,354.94. Trust and agency, we had an escrow come in for $1,500, which makes the total for trust and agency $1,500. Paid to New York State Department of Ag and Markets, $14. New York State Department of Health, $45, and solid waste, Columbia County Treasurer, $18.50, for a total for August is $4,932.44.
Okay. Accept the clerk's report. Thank you. Thank you very much. Move on to mail review. We got public hearing.
Public hearing on the solid waste. So I gave you each copy of the public hearing for the town of Red Hook regarding the micro hydropower facilities.
Okay. September 22nd.
Solid waste is switching to a tag system rather than garbage bags. They're little odd fees, $1 for a 10-gallon max size bag, $3 for a 30-gallon bag, and $5 for up to 55 gallons.
Yeah, this was brought up in the county. They've had a very hard time restocking the bags that they've been purchasing. They no longer can get them from the company they were buying from. The resident's not available, whatever, so we cannot purchase the bags anymore. So they're switching to a sticker system where you buy the stickers and put them on your own bags. So it saves the county from trying to find these bags and get them. And you can use any bag you want as long as it fits in the 10, up to 10, 30, or 55 gallon slot. So you buy the stickers, put them on your own bag, and throw the garbage away.
What happens with the bags that people already have?
You can use
purchased?
them. You can use them until they're gone.
They can be used?
Yes, and they still are selling some sizes they have available. I know they don't have any large sizes. I haven't been able to get large sizes for months, but they will sell out whatever sizes they do have, I believe. Actually, Bob just bought some smaller ones, I believe you said. So,
Okay.
if
Because
they're available.
I've heard someone complain that he had bags already, and when he went to throw them away, he was told that there are no bags and there's no way he could have them, and therefore he needed to put the tag on it instead.
That should not be the case. I'm not going to say it's not, but it should not be the case. It should be accepted
Okay,
everywhere.
so that should be okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. Anybody that's purchased a bunch of bags can use them until they're gone.
They indicated later this year that the tags would be available. I don't even have the tags available to me yet. I
Okay.
still have bags.
Okay, it wasn't in Claremont, so.
And the dollar bag up to 10 10 gallons should be up to 13 because that's the normal small size of a regular kitchen bag. So I think
I'll bring that up when I'm up there to see why they went with 10 gallons. I don't know. What was the other size bag? The small bag, did it hold 10 gallons or?
the small bags that you pay 50 cents for, they call them, some of them when I bought them, they marked on it was a 7-gallon bag. But the 13-gallon full fits in that bag, because I do that every week.
All right.
Okay, so I don't know, how they measure the gallons in bags. But I do put a 13-gallon bag that's full or close to full every week in what they call a 7-gallon bag.
All right.
And so that's the small bag size. And if you have to pay for over 10 gallons, the next size is $3, and that's a 600% increase.
Yep.
So you can
Well, I
put
know
that
there's
out
going to be
there.
some leniency on this, but I will find out why it's not up to 13 gallons, which seems like a normal size bag. That's an easy question.
Yeah.
I believe there will be leniency on that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's it. That's all you got?
That's it.
Okay, move on to correspondence for the web committee. Anybody have any questions, comments, or complaints for the web committee? Nope. Good. All right. Everything's been going all right as far as the website?
Yeah, I think we're behind on some of the meeting minutes, planning, zoning. I don't get any fire commission minutes at all. I haven't for a long time. It's like pulling teeth to get what I did, and I think that was only until like 2020, and I don't think I've got anything this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they post them on their own website and they just don't want to bother. But I've asked, pursued it. I get nothing. So
I'll inquire about that to find out why they're not getting anything. So, okay.
So how far are you behind on planning and zoning?
I think a month, maybe 2.
Okay.
I have to go back and check. I'm not sure. I just haven't been posting any minutes lately, so I know we're
Right.
a little behind.
Okay. Let's move on to committee reports. Bob?
Yeah, personally, I want to mention, I know some of the benches have gone up, and I took a walk up Monument Hill and sat on the bench there and looked out, and had a beautiful view of the outhouse. All right, and I think
I
that,
thought you were going to say my farm stand.
I couldn't see that far.
Over the top of the outhouse.
I thought that bench was going to go facing the
The soccer
wall
field
for the soccer field.
in the
And I
mountain.
think, and I've talked with Tyler, I think it'd be a good idea if the board was, we put another one up there facing the soccer field, but I think we should use the one without the back so that people can also use it to face the monument when they have the ceremony on Veterans Day, or look out towards the
I-
soccer field in the mountains.
I agree. I think that would be very nice. I think that they ran into some real challenges in leveling the area there. I mean, that was sort of
Well, you
what I
have
gathered
a
from
ledge
the-
there that's hard. I mean, it'd have to be built up quite a bit.
Shale, yeah.
We could probably level it off if it's shale, as long as it's shale and not hard bank.
Yeah.
We could probably cut it and put it on there, but we'd have to bring up the topsoil around for safety as well, so people don't trip over the slab. So it's gonna have to be raised quite a bit and sloped off with grass seed, so.
Yeah, I think that it seemed like they put it where it could go without significant modifications. But I agree. I mean, I think that that's what we had hoped for, but it was.
And the other one that
challenging to
I've seen
actually
is
do
not a
that.
bench there yet, but there's the pad for it, is in the overflow parking area. I'm not sure why that one was done. So-
That one was, so we together looked at the map of all of the bench locations, and that was put there just because there's no other place to sit between the parking lot, the regular parking lot, and sort of the trail area. So we figured we needed to, even though it is in the overflow parking lot area,
Yeah.
it's most 99% of the time it's just not the overflow parking area. It's just a nice field, so it gives
Yeah.
people a place to rest. along the way. We were trying to space them out.
I would have thought we'd try to put them
Accessibility
in
issues.
shady areas for people to sit and rest also.
Well, I think that's a great reason for us to fund some trees.
We have a lot of shade over there.
To add some, I mean, there's not a lot of shade in the park generally. It's an issue.
What I've
so.
suggested to Tyler is that maybe myself and anybody else on the board that wants to take a tour out and see where they're marked out. Because I mean, it really did not seem to be the right place to be overlooking the outhouse in the parking lot.
Well, the outhouse is going to have a, I mean, you have to recognize that
Yeah.
it's a side of a hill, right? So
Yeah.
this was the most flat and stable place that the highway department could install it in. And yeah, I think we can add to it. And I agree, we're going to need more seating for the veterans ceremony, which maybe we should bring some chairs or something just to make for that day specifically if we can't install appropriate seating. Or we could have a movable bench. I don't know, but we can bring that up at the next park committee meeting.
The other thing, so some of you probably know that there's a problem on Turkey Hill Road. We need to put a weight limit. We've had two engineers. George looked at it, I guess, and gave us a report, which I haven't had a chance to read through. I think Ray's read through it, and they're recommending a weight limit of 5 tons.
I have that on a new business. We'll
Yeah, I think
we'll
we should
act on that.
We should
I think
act
we'll,
on that.
go over details and more.
What's happening is there's big, heavy trucks going over this culvert that is a little bit challenged at this point, needs some repairs, which for lighter vehicles, it'd probably last for years, but repairs should get done as soon as we can. But in the meantime, we shouldn't have these heavy trucks going over it. And it's a little longer, but there are alternate ways for those trucks to get in and out. I mean, you can go the other way, but it is longer, depending on where they're going. And also I noticed as I rode by, I think it was yesterday, they were doing the blacktop here.
Yeah, they were trying to do it today. They patched it the first time, they had to
Yeah,
come back. I called them back because it was terrible what they did, and then they came and they milled out a wider area here in the parking lot, and it still has a bird bath to it, so. They should have brought in a paver and went the full width of the paver and just truly leveled the whole top part. It would have filled everything right in, it would have been sloped right to the catch basin right out here. I think it would have been perfect, but they kind of cheaped out on it, so.
That'll be a follow-up phone call. I said I just mentioned to Tyler, let's let it rain good tomorrow night and look at it Thursday, and if the water's puddled, we call them back and tell them we want it fixed again. I mean, it's not fixed, so to me, it needs to be addressed, so.
And their top paving superintendent was here from Calarusa, and he was watching it, so.
Maybe we should have him come down Thursday morning, take a look at the water.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I think they need to, if not a crown, maybe just a very gentle slope. I mean, a half inch or an inch over the width of the driveway.
yeah, no, they definitely have to address it because it's still not right. I can tell by looking at it, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's other spots that are not right either, but that was
It'll
the
be a
worst
problem
one.
in the winter when we have some ice freezing.
That's the worst part. We can't afford to have ice build up
Right.
there, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
All right, I guess that's all I had at this point.
Okay. All right, move on to Lindsay.
Great. Well, Tyler, since you're here, thank you very much for installing the benches. I think they look wonderful.
Thank you.
I know the placement has been a little bit challenging. We marked them, then mugwort grew all over the areas where we had placed the flag. So, anyways, I feel like they've been marked maybe like 4 times at this point. But anyways, thank you for finally getting that done. It really makes the entire space look like a park, and we'll have to go and see what needs to be done next with trees and maybe additional benches. But anyways, thank you for that additional effort. I know it was kind of a pain. So in terms of the park, a couple of things. The topsoil that we want to put on the sides of the path to the Veterans Monument, the park committee would like to wait to do that planting until the springtime to order the topsoil and the seeds early next year, I guess, and plant in the spring. Amy has a mix that she has in mind that includes grass and poppies that she thinks will take, but she recommends that we do that in the spring.
Why would you recommend the spring? The fall is a better time for planting grass?
Well, I think actually adding the poppies to the mix perhaps has something to do with it. I sort of had the same question, Bob, and she just thought that it would be more successful then for whatever reason, and she's done this
My father worked in
much more
landscaping
than I have.
years ago, in fact, before I was even born, but I remember saying that he's sowed grass seed in a snowstorm, and it comes up very well in the spring.
Right. Well, she doesn't just want to sow grass seed. She also
Yeah.
wants to mix in poppies as you
Yeah.
requested. So I
Yeah.
think maybe something with that. Anyways,
Okay.
her recommendation is that we do it in the spring, and it'll be an investment for us. So I unless the board feels strongly, I think it's fine to wait until the spring to get that started.
Yeah, if that's Amy's recommendation, I don't know one way or the other. I wouldn't know,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, it's got to have something to do with poppies. I mean, the grass seed's simple, but yeah, so it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
The other thing that came up at the last park committee meeting was wanting to prepare for next year's sports season, and a couple of things. One, the committee would very much like the sports schedule to be posted somewhere on the town website. And the other thing is they wondered if perhaps the town lawyer could assist with creating an MOU with teams looking to use the field to make sure, I suppose, they have the proper insurance, they know that they're carrying out all the trash, they're responsible for maintenance of the field, if there's any damage, that kind of thing. So maybe that's something we could work on this fall or over the winter time. I think we'd have to make a list of everything we might be concerned about, but I thought that seemed like a reasonable thing to do.
Okay.
Or maybe it's a contract, I don't know.
Right, I think
Perhaps the
we
best
can come
format.
up with a lot of the rules that we think that they should comply with. It would just be having Andy do a review, make sure that we have things worded so that we're not creating additional liability for us.
Yeah, we have always asked that they have insurance. Right?
We always obtain a certificate
Copy
of
of
insurance
policy.
before anybody uses it. Yeah. But yeah, that's certainly not a bad idea.
Right, like garbage, that we had talked about having garbage receptacles back there, but we started looking at them, they're quite expensive, and then somebody needs to empty them as well. So to make sure that the leagues know that they're responsible for taking out any garbage, and then if there's any damage, what we would, how we would work that out with them for them to reimburse us if there's any damage in the field or anything like that, just to be a little bit proactive. So
That's where you want the attorney involved when it gets into stuff like that. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And then I guess the other thing would be maybe they would have to give us their dates in advance, so then we'd have the
Yeah,
schedule
I-
ready for you to.
I would think
discuss
something
those.
like that wouldn't even go on the calendar until after all the required documentation is provided and reviewed, and we say, okay,
Right.
and then they would go onto the calendar
Right.
of some type. Developing the calendar, I know we've gone back and forth several times for that, and I guess from a software design or a website design perspective, we would have to look at that and understand how to do that, what we want and what we want it to look like, and the information that we want provided on there. So that's something that we would have to have a deeper discussion on.
Okay. Great. So, Ray, I wonder what's the best way to move forward with that? I wonder if there might be a template that we could use from another town, or the park committee could come up with sort of a list of concerns. Maybe you want to take the lead on
Yeah,
that?
I'm sure there's several towns that we could probably get a template from. Everybody has sports fields, so let me ask around, see if we can
Okay.
take a look at a general one and see if
Yeah.
just critique it to fit our needs.
Sure.
All right.
The other thing that came up was the half-court stencil and done for the
I had-
basketball.
Right. Back when I did the Bank of Greene County grant in the spring, I think to do a stencil for the half court was about $200, if I remember correctly. And I didn't do a great deal of searching for one either, so it's possible we could find something less expensive.
I know it's expensive to have things lined, courts like that. So I mean, what are you talking about? It's stenciled.
That you can buy
we put it down.
yeah.
We put it down ourselves. Yeah. Because we looked into it several years back, and it was very expensive to have somebody come and actually do it, and line it, and paint it. A couple $100 is pretty inexpensive, actually. So I just don't know who's going to do it.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Well,
What kind of stenciling are you talking about?
I feel like lining soccer fields is something that we've done. Of course, it's not necessarily with paint. It is with a paint on grass, but it's not supposed to kill the grass. You put it in a little machine. It's like a paint can that goes in, and then you squeeze the handle and it sprays, and you walk around. I don't know if there's something like that where you paint lines on blacktop for parking spaces. If something like, because they're kind of wide lines, I don't know if that would work. But my perspective, I don't see painting lines as being a huge. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it myself if I had the right equipment, other than a spray can.
I can't recall. It may have been things like I'm going to use the word terminology, probably tape. That it's a kit, and
I see. So you probably tape off where the lines go, and then you spray over top and lift it.
Yeah, if it was even that much, I don't recall. It was so long ago, I don't recall if it was actually that, or if it's some kind of a tape that you put down, and that's the line, not that you have to color them in, so to speak.
Yep.
And when you talk about lines
you
on the
don't need to
blacktop,
color
you
in
talk about lines that go with basketball or for other games? 'Cause
Well,
there's
in this particular instance, we're talking just basketball right now.
Okay, so what you really need is the 10-foot line for the foul line, and you need the half circle for the 3-point line.
Right.
And that's really
In the box, you put the
And the
boxes.
paint area.
Right.
And the
I
outside,
say let's
You're in
not
the
fill it
outside
with
lines.
paint, but it's
Right.
referred to the paint, and maybe a half court line. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's that complicated, but I guess it depends on,
The
we wouldn't
material
want to
that
have a
you're
line,
working
all of a
with.
sudden you got this big jagged thing,
Right, right.
mishap, if you will.
Right.
But it, wire brush takes it back up too.
Sir, do you?
I did a quick Google search of athletic field striping. There's a little push along thing for like $100, $150 plus the paint.
I have the cart. I have
So
one.
would it
There you
be
go.
just a matter of changing the type of?
Yeah, you can just put a different color or whatever you want, white or change color, but it's just a spray can. It's meant for
Yeah,
that, put it in.
I mean.
But you got to be able to
If
have
you're talking to soccer type stuff,
Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So I would imagine it's just a different type of paint because the soccer
main thing
fields are
is
lined with something that
laying it
doesn't
out,
kill the grass.
laying it out, getting arches and stuff like that.
Right.
String.
You do your
and
little
a nail,
arch,
you
yeah.
do your arch.
Yeah, it can be a pain in the
That's true.
butt, but I mean,
Yeah.
we can do it.
We'll have a volunteer day. We'll go out and we'll line it.
There we go.
Well, we just did over there at softball, the warehouse, they just striped some parking spaces over there.
So.
Well, I think if we approve, say, I don't know, $200 or $250 to buy the materials, that would be step one, and then we could figure out how to do it, or who's going to do it.
I'm just not clear what materials comes with it.
Okay, so we'll do.
We
some
can
work.
just bring it next.
Yeah,
Because it was
we can
just,
do it next
it's
time.
a
I just
carton of
wanted to
paint.
open up the
The carton of paint
conversation
is
to see how we do
simple.
it.
Okay, I'll go back and look. I didn't have a chance today to go and look at
Sure.
back at what I did.
The main thing is getting the dimensions of where to lay
Right.
everything out
Right.
accurately. That's
Yep.
the hard part.
Oh, based on the backboard
Right.
and the rim.
So other items, the committee has still not given us a third estimate for basically sort of a shed and enclosure for the porta potty. So hopefully by the next meeting we'll have that. So those estimates are now a little bit old.
Okay.
And I think that is it on the park side of things. The next thing I had on my list, this zoning complaint form, I have not gotten any feedback yet from Sam. Has anyone?
I saw the email, but I
You
haven't,
hadn't
I
had
haven't
anything back from him.
spoken with Sam yet.
Okay, all right. So we will wait till the next meeting, I assume, on that, because we do need his feedback. The other committee, the Climate Task Force, no updates there. At the moment, the committee members are sort of independently researching other opportunities to, gain points so we can get closer to being a climate smart community. And the last item that we've brought up for the last couple of meetings here is the idea of forming an agricultural committee, advisory committee that would review town policies, comprehensive plans, hopefully generate some ideas for supporting farmers in Claremont that would be sort of modeled on the town of Red Hook's agricultural committee and would meet on a quarterly basis.
That I did check into since we said we were gonna wait till this meeting to discuss it.
Yeah.
I did ask around the county, I spoke to Livingston, Gallatin, Clobrick, Stuyvesant, and somebody else, but I checked a few towns around because they're all heavily agricultural. They said at one time or another they all had agriculture committees. As of right now, none of them have any. He said it was one of those things that they had people that were interested, they got involved, and then it just died off. Mainly it was around when they did a comprehensive plan update,
Right.
and makes
that's
sense.
my main
Obviously
concern.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're quite ready to do that yet, but I do believe when we do take that step, I think then we should probably look at putting that committee in place. I don't know if it makes any sense at this point to do it until we're ready to make that next step with the update.
So maybe in January or something.
yeah,
like
if we're
that.
talking
There's
about-
no rush.
yeah,
I just
I mean,
want to
it's
make sure
just-
that the group is formed, has started thinking about issues in the town in advance of that, so it's not all these pieces aren't sort of coming together right at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of time to do that, and we can put that in place at any time. So I think maybe we wait until we get ready to take the next step, and then we'll consider that, if everybody's all right with that.
I did look at some of the meeting minutes that you
From the
had
town
connected
records,
us, and I did like that. It seemed as if the committee was taking responsibility for different actions and looking at some of the policies that were under consideration at the time. And I thought that was, kind of the advantage of the committee versus the ad hoc and the kind of the community listening sessions that Chris had suggested in lieu of a committee. That the people there were volunteers who were following
Yeah.
a
They do a
particular
lot.
issue rather than just gaining insight from the community. That I didn't that was community listening sessions. I didn't know that we would get that level of participation.
I think, yes, exactly. I completely agree.
I mean, yeah, and at this point, I don't think we have any real issues that the committee would take up at this point, but I mean, as we move forward with, I think we will have some, so I think that's when we should really have maybe a committee in place. So, if everybody's okay, we wait until next year, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to speak on the same topic, but I'll wait until Lindsay is finished. And
That's all.
we'll segue right in then. So
Okay.
that's the
All right.
first thing I'm going to talk about. I've been working with Mary Howard on some agricultural type preservation, and I think where I would like to bring forward soon is an update to our zoning laws where we consider a agricultural preservation districts, various districts, if you will, based on the farms that fit a criteria in size and where they may be interested in selling pieces for residential purposes, whether it be income in order to continue the paying taxes, whatever it is for that particular farm. The idea is that if they participate, they will agree to maintain a certain portion of certain size percentage of the farm, and in return With that agreement, they would be allowed to increase the density of residential areas. So something, an example would be you've got a large farm and someone wants to sell part of that for residential building lots. What they can do is enter into an agreement with the town. They will maintain a certain percentage of the farm, and that would be locked in. And in return, our current zoning right now is 2 acres, and I know different towns in the county vary on that. Some are 3, 4, whatever. Currently, we're at 2 acre zoning, and what this would enable them to do is condense that to perhaps 1.5 acres, provided it's part of the farm. And what that would do is increase the density, and that is not in accordance with our current zoning laws, so that the residential area is more dense based on the farm, and it would preserve more of the farm for farming.
So this would be a transfer of development rights within the farm parcel? Is that what you mean? Or in
Correct.
like an urban
It's not a
center?
transfer of development rights.
It's just,
It's a
Similar.
density bonus
It-
for
it-
agricultural preservation.
When
Uh-huh.
when the 2 acre zoning was put in, which was before any of us were on the town board,
Agreed.
it was done because of the distances you need between septic and wells and neighbors' wells and that, and it was considered that 2 acres was really, shouldn't really go much below that to keep that maintained, because the health department was increasing the
No,
amounts. in
we
that.
could check with the town engineer and, confirm on that. I mean, I'm on 1 acre, and there, I know there are many houses on 1 acre or less.
Yeah,
But I would want to check into that.
but you'd
and
like to have a little more, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
so who would hold the easement?
It would
I
be a
think
deed restriction.
Would be a deed restriction? There could be a
They'd be
not.
filed with the county.
Uh-huh.
And if they were willing to actually do a conservation easement, if it's over a certain amount of acreage, Columbia Land Conservancy is willing to assist for a fee. So basically, it's an investment in preserving the agricultural land by reducing the amount of land taken up by residential when a farmer is going to sell anyway.
So rather than the town raising money to pay for an agricultural conservation easement, you just make
They
a
get a
trade?
density bonus.
Uh-huh.
I think the idea is to make it more appealing, as well as not overly taxing for the town itself. Or the town has to pay out money, so that becomes a burden to the town.
Sure, I mean, there are a lot of, there's federal funding, there's state funding, there's local private funding for
But you need a
conservation
minimum of
easements.
50 acres.
Mhm.
And this is something that can be done with some of the smaller farms.
In a smaller context. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, like, there, it's not
Yeah,
like
there's
this
stuff
is,
out there.
like, we have many restrictions on our farm, because we want it, that's the only way we could purchase it to bring the price down. Yeah.
And the other reason why I thought this was a good place to start is because of the residential housing bubble that we're entering into now. And I know the planning board is reviewing things for subdivisions and such. So it seemed appropriate to maybe look at this closer now because of that. I don't know if that could change anything that's already in process now, but I know it wasn't more than a couple of years ago that we were looking at foreclosures and trying to move some houses, and now we're back into this building bubble where things are now being constructed again, and I don't want to see farms taken apart in pieces, residents built, and then have that just fall back into the same type of foreclosures and such where, the farmland is gone at that point. And the intent is to preserve that as best we can. But that is my
Right.
proposal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting, and maybe could be very useful. I also think it would be great to have farmers engaged in this conversation to
Oh,
make
absolutely.
sure that we
My-
get it right. Because if you know,
So
you
my-
have to put a program together in close partnership with
Yep.
growers.
So my thought was that we could identify all the farms in the town that fit the criteria that we put together, and I certainly have a template based on the information Mary gave me. So we have a template to begin with. So what we could do is notify all the farms that are currently fitting in that criteria, notify them directly, and then also put out a public notice when we're ready to move forward so that we could actually have a discussion. Not just an open forum with, committee members that may or may not be directly affected, but with the people who are directly affected.
Well, the idea would be an agricultural committee, so it would be any.
But-
I mean, it shouldn't be this type of zoning. Shouldn't be just the farms that are presently owned.
Oh, no, that's
are
why I
of a
said a
certain
public notice.
Right. I'm just saying the outreach should be to any farm, anyone qualifying as a farm in this area, because they just how
Oh,
ag works,
understood.
right? Like
Right.
everyone needs to be included. But this would be a significant change. It could be an important change, and I think maybe this is an opportunity to start an ongoing dialogue with growers.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I think it's important to notify them directly and have a public notice. So the public notice is notifying everyone that we possibly can, but direct notification to those who would be potentially people who want to take advantage of that.
Very interesting. All right.
I don't have the document to hand out to anyone at the moment. I started going through there's Yorktown's version of it, and what I wanted to do is go through it. There are a lot of references to Yorktown's current zoning laws, and what I wanted to do is try to modify that so that they are referencing our current laws here in Claremont. And in doing so, we may find other things in our zoning law that we may want to look at. So
I'm wondering why we wouldn't do this in conjunction with the comprehensive plan. though.
Right.
I mean, I want to do anything we can to protect Claremont's farms, but
Yeah.
this is a significant change. We obviously need to see it on paper and have.
I think it's
more
a
sense
small
what
piece
you're
of
looking
it. I agreed it should be in a comprehensive plan, but I think this is a small piece of it. And based on the housing market that we're looking at right now, it's something I thought maybe this should be addressed sooner before we actually have a comprehensive plan. But this agreed should be part of the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, maybe if you can get some of that information together, bring it maybe next month, and get take a look at it, see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because it sounds very interesting. I mean, I think we should take a look at it, consider it.
Yeah, and like I said, I've been working with Mary. Mary and I have been talking, and I've been going through, as I've said in past meetings, a lot of information. And I think by just moving most of that information to the side and concentrating on a part of it that could be beneficial sooner, I think is really it's the plan I'm taking right now, because I feel like it's something that we can do quicker, and it's a smaller piece. It's not tackling a huge chunk all at once. And it could be added onto and adjusted to be more accommodating and expand with a full comprehensive plan. But it's a small piece that maybe we could implement sooner than later.
Step in the right direction.
Correct.
Absolutely. Okay.
I appreciate what you're saying with the timeliness of it, but I don't want us to get into the pattern of doing comprehensive plan piece by piece like that.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. I agree. I just think it's something that is, if it's a small enough piece that affects us right now, it might be beneficial,
right.
both to the town and to the
Right.
community.
Right, I agree.
So that's the end of that topic. Is there any more discussion on that before I go on to the?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So the next thing I had, Lindsay had given me a contact for video conferencing. So I did call Eric and I spoke with him. What he can do is supply, what he's suggesting is maybe 2 or 3 microphones that drop from the ceiling, a camera that would be mounted to the back of the room and adjusted to, angled and adjusted as far as the zoom to meet our criteria. He's got, actually, he didn't direct me to it, but I did go on their website and locate a few other towns that use their service.
What's the name of the company again? It's like Town Meeting Recordings or something very straightforward.
I put all my notes on a
Just
piece
so
of
you
paper,
want
and that's the paper I don't have.
It's the Town of Lebanon.
Oh, New
Yeah.
Lebanon does use it.
Yeah, I don't remember. Actually, it's probably in your email you sent me. So, but for $150 a month, it would include up to 4 meetings. They can expand more on that, but it's 4 meetings a month. And like I said, it's not really based on the equipment, but he feels comfortable that maybe 2 or 3 microphones that hang from the ceiling, that way they're out of touch, people can't handle them and that type of thing.
Yep.
What he would need to do is come out of our closet, probably off of the router, and run a cable to get to the camera. So somehow you would have to go from,
You can go in the attic.
right, that was a suggestion. He would, of course, need more information on the building and the layout. That would also include, I think he said every 4 years, there would be either firmware updates to like the camera or camera replacements, depending on how that worked out. And they hold all the recordings. They could either direct us to a link or as an administrator to the account, because we'd have to create an account. The administrator of the account could also download those and we could do what we want with them.
How would that be used? I mean, we would have a remote to turn them on and off.
Yeah,
So we start recording, turn it on and off. Okay.
right,
It's townhallstreams.com.
yes.
And you said this is the same one that New Lebanon, did you say?
I believe, yeah.
Because I thought, I'd have to go back and
I
look.
think there's one closer to Albany too. That one of them that I looked at, I don't know if it was maybe in Rensselaer County. But I looked at a couple of them just to see how.
How
Did
is
you
the
think the
quality?
quality was okay? That was my only
I thought-
concern.
The last one I looked at, I thought it was okay, but the one that I'm thinking of, each board member had their own podium and microphone, and he said that was probably their infrastructure, it wasn't his. That's why he was recommending hanging.
But the video quality you thought was
On that
adequate?
particular one, I
Yeah.
thought so, yeah. I mean, it was zoomed out, so you had the entire board plus like a podium for public comment. The camera didn't move, but it was a stationary camera that was zoomed out enough to
Catch
encompass.
everything.
Yeah,
And I would assume they maybe put two microphones here and one in the public or something,
Right.
you know, or whatever.
that I was thinking the same.
Now, so the installation, all the equipment,
No installation fee, no equipment fees. So it comes out of the
comes out of the monthly
monthly.
fee. And it's
monthly
$150. And how long do we have to sign on for? Is there a requirement of 1, 2, 3 years, 5 years?
That's
You
not
know?
the question I asked them. I
It'd
assume at
be
least
great
a
to see a
year.
contract, just
Yeah.
like
Because that, I mean,
I
it
think
sounds very
sounds
reasonable.
like a
Yeah.
decent
If it's,
It does.
you know, it
Yeah.
sounds very reasonable. Definitely would solve our issue. I think it would be, if it's a decent quality, I'd be very interested to look into it.
Yeah,
Some information on it.
what I could do is go back and do another search like I did last time and maybe send out a few links to other towns so that everybody except for Bob can go on a computer and actually see what it looks like and what some other examples that are actually using their services now, what that looks like.
And we would be able to put these on YouTube after the fact.
That was really one of my questions of how we acquire the video, if we want to archive the video or what we want to do. They maintain it for I forget the length of time, 5
They sort of
or
post it
5
on
years.
their website.
I think it's available. They supply a URL, so I don't really know if they have it on one of their servers or if it's on a like a YouTube or something like that. But the idea that as an account holder here, we could log in, download the video, and put it wherever we want. And I don't think there's any video editing. All they do is you turn the switch on, and it records, and you turn it off, and it turns off. And then once you do that, your video is created. As far as editing, if we want to turn it on, similar to what I did here, I turned this on earlier, and then do the editing and post it on our website. It's just a matter of downloading the video and doing that, and then uploading to wherever we want the edited version. But they would maintain a copy of it until we download, and then we could do what we want with it.
Also, New Lebanon, I'll talk to Tish. She's the Holton, the supervisor up there. I'll see if she's if she's happy with it or not. I don't know how long they've had it, but I'll find out what she thinks of it and if she's happy with the quality. And if we can get something in writing, some type of proposal.
Yeah, it seemed very reasonable, but like I said, I didn't ask them to follow through on like a contract or anything. So
Okay.
I kind of wanted to get the feel of the board and what we thought before I moved in that direction.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think we should, we definitely have to do something, and this seems like a very reasonable approach to what we're talking about, several thousands of dollars to buy our stuff and install it and all that stuff, so.
Right.
I think we should
And
consider.
like I said, that the camera and things over time are refreshed, or if there are firmware updates, those are sent out as well. So it's maintained that way on a periodic basis.
Good. Any questions?
I went to New Lebanon's website, and their link takes you to a town hall streams posted page that gets you to each of the recordings,
Okay.
just so you know.
All right.
But we could
East
download it and
Greenbush
put it
also
on
uses
YouTube.
Right, we could do it either way.
New
We could
Hampshire
just
and Maine
link to it,
Yeah.
or if we wanted to edit and, do anything that way, we could just download it and re-upload it, an edited version if that's what we wanted to do.
One thing I think we need to consider is right now we're fortunate that we have somebody with your talents. We may not always have that person, so how do we
Exactly.
carry on when that's no longer the case?
And that's another option. You could just link directly to their video. It would have, of course, the early portions of the meeting before everyone arrives, because whoever turns the switch on, then it begins recording. When you turn the switch off, then it stops recording, and that's your video. So,
It is nice that it's sort of plug and play.
yeah.
And would we be able to, I know there have been questions about live streams of other public meetings held here. Is it possible to schedule streams in advance?
I didn't get into the detail. I believe you can start and stop remotely. I'm not 100% though, because it is connected into the router, and there may be that access to do that. How this affects the other boards, I don't know.
Well, that would be an advantage for us as well, that like we could do our workshops, which we don't right now.
Yep. Well, if we're going to do 4 meetings and then we have a workshop that makes up 5 or 6 meetings in a single month, then
Right. we'd have to do,
Yeah.
have to see what we could possibly do our workshops.
Does that increase the price? Is there like a number of hours or something that?
Actually, he didn't talk hours. He said number of meetings.
Oh, just
There is the higher echelon. Basically, he indicated there were two options. One basically is the basic, which I just got done explaining, 4 meetings a month. And then there's the unlimited, which I think goes from $150 a month to, I think it was $250 a month. And that's unlimited. You could do as many as you want.
All right. Well, if you can get some of this stuff,
Yeah, I'll reach back out
take
to
a look
him.
at it.
I did indicate to him that I would know more after this meeting tonight, so he knows the date that I was going to present this. So I'll reach back out to him and ask him if we can move forward with something more concrete, some type of a contract, written proposal.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll check with New Lebanon, see what she thinks of it, and we'll talk about it next month if we get something ready.
Okay.
All right.
That's great.
So he did ask if we wanted to move forward, I'd take a few pictures of the room so that he could sort of get an idea of what is involved in installation.
Okay.
So maybe after our meeting, I'll take a few
Yeah,
pictures.
and the attic is pretty accessible, so that should be easy to run the wires through. So, good.
Maybe just a couple other questions you could ask. If there's any sort of transcription services.
Yes, there is.
There are.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's added extra.
That-
I don't know if that's part of the basic package or if we need to move to the unlimited
Okay.
package for
Maybe
that.
we could just see and evaluate
Yeah.
whether, I don't know if that will be
He-
helpful for our record, for your job, Tracy, or not, but.
He did mention that, but I believe, I don't have my notes with me. I believe he did say that was part of the unlimited package.
Okay. And then it's streaming, right? So if you're at home right now, you could be watching the meeting happen.
That I don't know. I don't know if it's live streaming. I don't know. I'll ask.
Okay.
That may be in my notes as well. I don't remember it.
Because that's another thing that we have heard is particularly with COVID, people wanting to have, I guess some of their towns have had meetings on Zoom and wanting to be able to engage with the town board, but not actually have to be here in person.
I believe the governor signed legislation in the last few days that changed some of the open meeting laws, and I think it allows for
To go back.
Zoom and things like that, but I don't know any of the details.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check on those items.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chris.
And that was all I had.
All right, Dawn.
A couple of months ago, we passed a resolution to become a Purple Heart community. And along with that, I was given some information from Senator Jordan's office about where we could get signs to say that we're a Purple Heart community. And before I forget, I want to say that I did read a big article in the Columbia paper within like the last 2 weeks where Senator Jordan spoke about the Purple Heart communities, and it listed all of the towns, and we were not listed.
Oh, boy.
So I will follow up with her staff member to make sure that they have us on record as being a Purple Heart community. When I first reached out to this company, that is Max Performance, and it's in Hudson Falls or somewhere up north. What she gave me was a sign that was 30 by 42 and said that it was approximately $120. She did let me know at that time that because of the ongoing changes in the markets that the prices change slightly nearly every day. So I went back, we decided that was too big as something to put out in front of the town hall here. So I went back to her and she gave me 2 smaller sizes, which are smaller, but I don't know if we would still consider them to be too big. One is 30 by 36, and that is $75.25 a sign. And the other is 30 by 24, and that was $69.25 a sign. So they're still a little bit less than 3 feet wide, high, but they're a little bit not quite as wide. So I don't know, if we want something else, it would have to go to another company, which is not a problem. I did see, there is one as you come over the Rip Van Winkle Bridge that does not have the emblem on it. It's just about, it looks about that wide and maybe about that high, and it just says Columbia County Purple Heart Community on it.
You also have one coming in from Red Hook. There's one the county's got up there from Columbia County.
Okay, it's probably the same
That's a
thing.
pretty good size one. It's probably close to what we're here, 30 by 24.
Where is it?
Coming right in just as you come from Red Hook on 9.
Oh.
Let's see that probably.
So what is it?
Where you're entering Columbia County, it says Columbia County is a Purple Heart County or community. So, yeah, it's right there.
No, I traveled there.
I saw it a couple days ago. 30 by 24. I mean, that's better. I mean, that's a decent sized sign. Better than the big
Right,
huge
right.
one. So, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem getting a couple of those to put around if
Okay.
you want to.
We never really talked at length. At one point, we talked about possibly putting one out in front. I don't know if we want to put them like at the entrances to the town in 9 and 9G, or
Yeah, how many do we need and where do we want to put them is a question. I didn't put a lot of thought to that. I don't know. We need to think about that before we order.
Geez, I'm already thinking like 6.
Well, you need quite a few.
Two for Route 9,
And
two
two for 9G.
9G, and then maybe the was it on Route 19 that goes out of Claremont, follows all the way out
To
toward.
Lazaville.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think 2 on each road but maybe that's really only 5 instead of 6. I'm just quick math in my head, thinking of the main roads.
I'm wondering just the justification, like if there is one coming into Claremont already, Columbia County is a Purple Heart community.
Yeah,
Do we need an additional sign?
probably not on. Route
probably
9,
not
like you're
there,
saying.
but we could
Yeah.
put one up here as you come into
Coming into
Claremont.
Claremont, yeah, so that would be
As you go
one.
over
Yeah,
there.
because that's just for entering the county. It says the county.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, they put them on the county line, which is easy.
I wonder if that would be down on 9G as well?
I haven't noticed it
don't know.
down there. I didn't see it there,
As
but
you come into the
I would
county.
think if they put it on one road, they put it on another.
Mary's shaking her head no, she doesn't think so.
No?
Maybe not yet, because I saw the one up several months ago up on Route 9.
I think you're right, as you come in to
I think
Columbia
they're
County.
working on it, I think is what it is.
Maybe our southern border is already covered.
Somewhere out here on the, the vicinity of the town hall. It'd have to be right in front, but up or down one way or the other.
Yeah, we could certainly put one out here. I mean, we could easily put them out if we order 5 or 6 of them. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't.
All right, well,
That's
let me
nice.
go back to her and tell her we're gonna get 6.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking $300. I mean,
Okay.
what is the shipping? They tell you how much the shipping's
I don't know. It's in like North Creek or something like that. I'll find that out as well.
All right,
Okay.
let's do that.
Okay. So all of that. And then at the last meeting, I said I would, I had gotten updated information from the park committee as far as what they were looking for as bike racks. So originally, when I had priced it out, I had priced out ones that were recycled plastic, and the one I had, I believe, is bigger than the one I have here in front of me now, which I think accommodated 10 bikes. And to buy 2 of them was close to $1,500. So we went back to the committee, and they decided. Well, here's what the recycled plastic ones look like. Just kind of what you think of as your standard bike rack. So we went back to the committee, and they decided they would be happy with these ones that are called Wave 2 bike racks that are metal. And they have a wave like that. And the ones that I have here they're 5 loops, and they will accommodate 7 bikes. Hopefully I didn't mess myself
I
up
actually
here.
like those. I've seen those around.
They're,
the
the one,
galvanized, I think.
I did one, it's metal, it's coated in a black powder. It will accommodate 7 bikes, and 2 of them is about $830. That's from Belson Outdoors. I looked at another one from,
And these need to be mounted though.
right,
like, on pavement. Or
right. They would need to be mounted at pavement. You're correct. I looked at one other company, Uline, and something similar, which I'm not going to find right now. Before shipping, for two of them was $900. Though I looked at the old recycled plastic one and a smaller one, and here's the Uline one. Yeah, they were $450 a piece before shipping for the wave tube. The Belson for the recycled plastic, that one was two of them that would accommodate a six position bike rack was a little bit more than $1,200.
How much is the wave again?
The waves are
$830.
about $830. They're like $251, and then it's about $318 in shipping. That's
How much are they each? They're $251.
$251.
And they
then-
require
And the
some
highway,
kind
is that
of.
okay to install those? They would be, do you want to show?
Yeah, I don't know
the
what anchor points they use. I don't know what they use for an anchor point, whether it's concrete or
I think,
blacktop.
yeah, they look like that.
I would think we could
I
probably
imagine.
do a little concrete pad and just
Yeah.
bolt it down.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Probably 2 little pads on each side.
Yeah.
Well, those seem like sort of the standard in terms of durability and so on. They're very easy to use as a cyclist. It'd be nice if we could, it's probably in the climate smart communities task force as like a point item to install.
oh, it may
bike
be.
racks.
It may be.
So maybe we should think about it from that perspective as well, because we should have them, if we're gonna do the shipping, right, we could order maybe like 4 of them, put one over on Claremont side, one on Headland side, one here, at least.
Well, yeah, I was thinking just when I priced this out, just 2 of them, one for Hetland Park and one for Claremont Park.
Mhm.
I didn't think of here.
Is there a stipulation based on the park size and the number of bike racks
Maybe
that-
2 per park or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, it may segue into more of a
Right.
requirement. I'm not sure.
Right. Well, we can look that.
I do see people bike over there all the time.
We can definitely, touch base with in that climate smart checklist
Yeah.
and come back next month.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds fine.
I'm
Okay.
not sure I see
About
enough bikers to have the number
Right.
4 bike racks.
And then
But
the-
it's
Probably
more
adequate
of
for now.
location.
Other thing I followed up on was
Don't think I'll ever
the
be filled.
handicapped accessible swing. And what I had originally proposed was this Gen swing that I had seen it at a website called Willy Goat, which is a crazy name, and it was about $475 plus shipping. It's not ideal. It's very hard. And actually, in this catalog that Tracy just gave me tonight, there's pictures of it. It's very hard plastic. It will accommodate. The reason I saw it was that it will accommodate a child up to 125 pounds. So, and it would be something that we could just hang on one of the existing frame over there.
Mm-hmm.
So in the interim, people saw the one at Red Hook and like that, and I like that one as well. It looks much more comfortable. It looks a lot sturdier. And unfortunately, the company Landscape Structures and their, I guess it's like a regional distributor, which is Parkitecture, they will not sell anything that will go onto an existing frame for liability purposes. So we have to get something that's in its own frame. The one down at Red Hook is called, this one here, I guess, it's called, yes, it's called a friendship swing with a single post, and it will accommodate kind of 2 people. And that one is almost $4,000 with the frame and everything.
Wow.
There's another one, and I said to her, she was showing me, sending me all kinds of things. Oh, no.
That's for
actually,
the swing and the structure around?
Yep,
So that would be for a whole swing
yes.
set?
No,
right?
actually, I have that backwards. The one at Red Hook, that actually is an 8-foot beam. It has 2, one bucket that will accommodate a 2 to a 5-year-old, and another bucket seat that will accommodate a 5 to a 12-year-old, and that's about $3,400. So I said to her, well, we're looking for just one that will accommodate the greatest age range. I know it's going to have a separate frame, and that's the one she came back to me with, this friendship swing, and that's the one that's almost $4,000. So I am
Does that
going.
include a fall surface also?
No,
So it's more than $4,000.
Well, we can do, in Red Hook, where they have this structure, they have wood chips. The adequate amount of wood chips for.
so I think this is a lot more money than what we were originally talking about. So I'm going to continue to do some more research.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could find something we could bolt onto our existing structure. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit better than the first one you found. It's
Right,
still more
right.
accommodated, but not $4,000.
Right,
You know, I mean, that's just a
right.
lot of money for a swim, one
The
swim.
manufacturer, don't you have their contact information for the safety searches? Would
Yes.
the same
Oh, yes.
company-
And I
maybe
do
they
have,
that option?
and I do have, Ray found, or Tracy probably found the contact information for Ray Michael.
Bob found it.
Oh, Bob found it.
Nice.
Oh, all right.
I was
Whoever found it.
confused.
Whoever found it, so we do have that information now, and we can go back to them and get the correct parts so that we can fix the tiles over there.
All right. Yeah, and if we could just search around for some kind of swing that'll bolt onto our existing structure, I'm sure it'd be a lot less
Yes.
expensive.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yes.
All right. Okay. And
No,
thank
that's
you,
it.
Green County.
Oh, yes.
Hey.
Oh, I picked up the check on Thursday from the Bank of Green County. So we have our $750 from them towards, it was, I had done a whole, the swing, the bike racks, and games for the basketball court. So that came to $2,500. So they gave us $750 towards that. And I also submitted
Do we have to do all this? Sorry, do we have to do all those projects?
I don't think so,
Or we
no.
just have, it's towards any of those?
Right.
Okay.
And I also have submitted the information to the Columbia Land Conservancy for the $500 reimbursement for the sign. So I submitted that long enough ago that if you have not seen the check, I'll follow up.
Okay. Not as of yet. Not as of yet. We haven't received it. Okay. Well, thank you, Dawn. I'd like to thank Bank of Green County, obviously, for their continued support. We appreciate that. Put towards the park, so thank you for getting that taken care of. Okay, old business, move on. Just a reminder, the budget workshop we scheduled for 9/13, which is next Monday, September 13th. We did schedule that for 6 p.m. I just want to make sure everybody's, just to put it out there again, that we did schedule a workshop for the 6 p.m.
Did we have a date for if we need a second?
We did not pick a date.
I thought we talked about the next night. If we needed another,
Did we?
I thought we did.
I thought there had to be some
We
time
would,
between.
I think we said we would do it for the following week if we needed
I
it.
didn't put it in my calendar.
I don't remember making a second date.
I don't think we actually made
Because we made the
a
time at
second
6 p.m., so we'd have time to get it done that evening. But,
Yeah, the only thing I wrote down from our last meeting is September 13th at 6
Said we would
p.m.
do it before the next meeting, I think, before the October meeting. If need
I don't
be.
know.
well, if we'd like to pick a secondary date just in case,
The next Monday, I believe, is fire commissioners.
yes, right? Fire commission is third Monday?
Yeah.
So we'd have to do, we could do Tuesday, the 15th,
14th.
14th? 14th.
That's the next day. If you go on the second day, you may have to find some information or something, you might need some time. We'll do it the next day. I mean, I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine we won't
you'd
finish
have-
it one day.
Well, I can't imagine that you'd have to have another meeting, and it would, and the reason wouldn't be that you had to find out some information or something, which would take a day or two maybe. So I don't think it should be the next day.
Pick a day. I can't see the calendar.
So,
You want to do it the following week?
20th?
The
No.
20th is fire
fire
commission.
Oh,
commissioners,
sorry.
the 21st.
We could do the 21st. I could do the 21st on Tuesday.
At 6 o'clock again?
Tuesday the 21st,
Tuesday the 21st if needed.
so I should put a public notice in for that. Either do it tonight or so.
Yes.
Do
Okay.
both of them in the same
She's already
notice.
noticed the first one.
Oh,
Yeah, you'll have to put that in there, so.
So 9:21, what
9:21 at 6 PM.
I'm
if
glad you
needed.
picked Tuesday, because I can't be here Monday.
So you can do that. Okay.
But that would just be a continuation. If anybody that wants to come to the budget meeting, if you notice the first one, and they can be
Yeah, you
told.
still have to notice a public meeting.
Huh?
Still have to notice a public meeting. Even though it's a workshop. That's fine. We'll put a notice out. All right, so video recordings, we already talked about that, so cross that off. We took care of that already. New business, we have a couple new items. We have to adopt we talked about last month, the building code fees. We went over these and we didn't vote on it last month because we wanted to take a look at them and digest them for the month. Anybody have any suggestions, comments, or further discussion on this? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the updated fees.
Can I just ask for clarification on the exceed filling and depositing restriction for landscaping, driveways, and septic systems? Is there, it doesn't really stipulate an amount. Is there an amount of extra fill where this, I mean, is there,
That's in the zoning law. I don't remember what it is, but if you go over a certain amount, I think there's some exceptions, maybe if you're building a house, something, but the reason that we put that in originally was because people start moving material in or out, maybe affecting wetlands, so we wanted it to have a permit to make sure that we knew about the wetlands, and then there was an amount, but I don't remember what it was.
okay. I understood the purpose of it. I didn't know if that should be clarified. And if this is going to be something that we end up posting for the public, I just thought that maybe that should have some kind of a clarification to it. It's on the, are you looking for it?
That's the one, no, I see, that's the one we didn't touch. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only $50, but there's nothing that really stipulates if you bring in this much fill or something like that.
That's
then
in,
you-
that's in the zoning law.
Okay, but if this is gonna be something that we post, it should be clarified here. Unless we come up with a new document that we're gonna post on the web. I'm just saying, I would like that clarified for the public. That maybe it's already stipulated someplace, but I just feel like if it's, whatever we end up posting, it should be clarified in what we post.
I'll have to find that out because I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Would you like the answer?
Would you like, you have the answer?
It's mining, removal, and filling of lands. It's hereby only allowed by special permit within designated districts. It should be issued by the ZBA on prior approval by the planning board. In addition to meeting the below requirements, it is for the granting of a special permit or any mining operations for which more than 1,000 tons of minerals will be removed within 12 successive calendar months.
1,000 tons. So if you exceed 1,000 tons,
Either in or out, that's the
In
same.
or out.
Okay,
What if you just put in parentheses 1,000 pounds?
1,000 tons.
Tons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1,000 tons.
That would be.
It's a difference.
So it's in
Oh,
excess.
your answer.
See zoning law.
Yeah, we
It's
could-
in excess of that, right? So if you bring in 500 tons of something, it's okay.
or we could just reference as per zoning law.
Good
That might
point.
be easier.
That's per 4.14.11.
Hold on, 4.1411
4.11.
zoning laws.
Okay. I'll reference that.
That may be easier. Exceed filling and depositing restrictions as per zoning law, 4.1411. Is that clarification for you? That work?
Good enough.
All
Yep.
right.
And
So,
then it references DEC stuff as well in the zoning.
thank you for being here with your laptop, Mary.
Nice to have you back,
I should
Mary.
have this memorized, I know.
Okay, with that clarification, we'll get a motion to approve the resolution 44.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Carried. All right,
Resolution number 44.
number 44. Next, the resolution for the county has asked for us to pass the municipal self-insurance plan. It's a resolution to enter into a plan. The county, the whole entire county is using this as a template. This is a joint thing. The county actually has the self-insurance plan, and we're joining into it with them. So this is for the firefighters. I'm going to read the resolution. Resolution to join municipal group self-insurance program, whereas the authorized representative of the town of Claremont desires to secure the town of Claremont's obligation to provide volunteer firefighters benefits law, volunteer ambulance workers benefits law, and workers' compensation benefits as applicable through participation in a group self-insurance program of which the town of Claremont will be a member. The authorized representative of the town of Claremont duly convened in regular session does hereby resolve pursuant to and in accordance with the provision of section 53-A of the New York State Workers' Compensation Law and other applicable provisions of law and regulations thereunder as follows. Section 1, the authorized representative of the town of Claremont does hereby resolve to secure the town of Claremont's obligation to provide volunteer firefighters benefits law, volunteer ambulance workers benefits law, and workers' compensation benefits as applicable through participation in a group self-insurance plan of which town of Claremont will be a member. Section 2, the representative of the town of Claremont does hereby resolve to become a member of Public Employer Risk Management Association, Inc., a workers' compensation group self-insurance program for local governments and other public employees, and instructs and instrumentalists can't spit out, of the state of New York. Section 3, in order to effect the town of Claremont's membership in said group self-insurance program, the authorized official of the town of Claremont is hereby authorized to execute and enter into Public Employer Risk Management Association Workers' Compensation Program Agreement annexed hereto as Exhibit A on behalf of the town of Claremont. Section 4, the resolution shall take effect immediately for coverage effective August 1st, 2021. I, Raymond Stats, do here certify that I am supervisor of the town of Claremont and that the foregoing constitutes a true, I get glasses, a true, correct, and complete copy of resolution duly adopted by the representative of the town of Claremont in a meeting therefore held at September 7, 2021.
Now, is this self-insurance something that
This is
we
for
pay
the
for?
firefighters. This is the group self-insurance plan that the firefighters have, the additional plan that they put in effect years ago to help the firefighters plan. The county actually does the plan. Towns all have to opt into it to participate in the group plan.
But do we have to pay anything, or does the county pay it all?
This comes out of the fire district's budget. The town doesn't pay anything. This is what they actually pay into. This is part of that program they pay into.
I thought there was some plan that the county paid for.
The county,
Something that came out recently that had to do with illnesses or something. And
they support the plan. I think we just opt into it, and I do believe it comes out of the fire district. I believe it comes out of
if
the
it comes out of the fire district, why do we have to
Right,
approve
right, that's
it?
my question.
We have to opt into as a town board because we're the authorizing entity that allows us to be part of the plan.
So we're opting into something where we allow the fire district to have to pay.
I
Premiums?
believe they have to accept it as well. I mean, they participate in it. I mean, they are the ones that
Well, I'm not
actually
against
do
it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to understand all the ramifications. And I mean, anything that supports the fire members, I'm certainly in favor of. But I'm just wondering, I don't quite understand who's paying what and when.
Just trying to read this letter quick and see if I can scan through it. This compensation plan. I don't know. I don't know the answer, Bob.
Correct me if, and I always get fire district and fire company mixed up, so I'm probably going to speak incorrectly here. That the fire district is a separate organization, a separate legal entity from us, and we contract with them to provide fire services. Is that correct?
I don't think we contract with them, no.
You're a
Fire
taxing district. You're a
it's a
taxing district.
district.
Right. They raise their own taxes, correct?
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand why we would be signing this rather than them.
I don't know the answer. Fire districts, village subdivisions shall be deemed to have elected security competition. Subdivision, in case of cause securities. When I read this, I didn't even think about why we were signing it, you know, to tell you the truth.
Is there something that we can find out?
I could find out, I mean, we could certainly, I'll get the answer to that. I'll get
We
the
have our
answer to
meeting
We
it.
could
next
even
week.
pass it in our budget workshop if we know the answer.
Yeah, because everything they sent down with the template and everything, as a supervisor, they want, they want it all signed by me, so I'll have to find out why the district has nothing to do with it, why we're doing it. And we'll take care of it at the budget workshop we need to. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and again, I don't have any difficulty with supporting the fire district. if
I didn't,
it's
I didn't
appropriate.
think twice about it, I just said, yeah, we certainly want that in place, so I'll find out why they're not doing it, why we need to do it. Okay?
And speaking of supporting the fire district, they're in the process of reviewing new turnout gear, which
Yes.
turns out to be very expensive. And in fact, they had somebody here at their last meeting, they'll have another group at their upcoming meeting demonstrating their gear, and it's over $3,000 for one set of turnout gear for one fireman. And they're doing it primarily for internal firemen, and they're talking about buying 6 sets of it, and they would like to buy a little more. And I kind of, at the last fire commissioners meeting, I forget the exact amount, it was $3,200 or a little more than that, but I asked them, if I could encourage them, if I made a donation of $1,500, I would make it under $3,000 per set. And I'm sure they'd be happy if anybody else would like to make any kind of a donation, and they might even be able to buy a couple more sets if they got enough donations.
Yeah, because they're what the expiration date on that is, they get 10 years out of something like
I
that?
think so,
You
yeah.
have to throw them away, even if they're used once, 10 times, 20 times, it doesn't matter, they throw them out. It's crazy to be certified.
What they're looking for is ones that were, according to the people demonstrating them, and a couple, I asked a question at public comment, a couple of the members had been to a meeting where they looked at several different types, but the people demonstrating this one were making the point that it was more comfortable and more protective, which is, if you get both of those.
Hey, that's good.
That's good.
That's right.
But it's, again, very expensive. And my thought was, I made a donation when we built the park and the swings and that. And to me, the safety of fire people is even more important than playground.
They should actually
So-
put a letter out and see if they could collect a little money as a donation fundraiser. I'm
Right.
sure people would. That would be the thing to get that out. But, that would be the way to go. So, all right, we talked about the zoning complaint form. We're going to hold off on until we get Samson because he never did respond, and I didn't get a chance to sit down and talk about it either. So,
If we,
one more month's not going to
I don't
change
think it's
anything.
gonna make a big difference.
Okay.
We're good to go this week.
All right, we'll get that straightened out with them. Last thing I didn't have on the list, because I just got this tonight, was the weight limit for Turkey Hill. Bob brought this up in his committee report. We do have an issue that's presented itself, and Tyler was kind enough to get a hold of the engineer to get them to come down and take a look at this. It's a deteriorating, I'm not gonna call it a culvert, I guess it is an old culvert, but it's not a culvert.
It's an arched stone culvert.
An old arched
George-
stone culvert.
That's
There you
what
go.
George calls it, yeah.
There's some
That
pictures
had
here.
something to do with the railroad that used to go through there, didn't it, Tyler?
I think it's old rail, he thinks it's
There's a
old
few
railroad
pictures if you wanna see what it looks like.
George does,
Got
yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
pages.
I think the track used to run right up through there.
So the issue is this deterioration going on with this thing, and Tyler was worried about some settlement on near the road, the edge of the road and stuff. So he had him come down, the engineer come down, take a look at it, and sure enough, they determined that it's not an immediate rush, or an immediate emergency, I should say, but it is something we should take a look at. And they recommended by reducing the weight limit on the road to start with temporarily until we can actually talk about this budget, getting this fixed. We do need to address it in the near future. So they put in here their findings of what they determined when they looked at this, and this is per our engineer. They recommend dropping the weight limit temporarily, posting it down to a 5-ton, except for local deliveries. Is what's very common, a 5-ton weight limit. And until we can get this addressed and fixed, leave the weight limit lower, and then we can actually bring it back up afterwards.
I don't know the area very well. Where are these big heavy trucks coming and going from?
Well, they do go across to Rojan, I believe, but I don't know if they're still even open anymore. At least they're taking trucks in and out of there.
Well, there's a few trucks from there, but there's a huge job on the top of the hill. And Ryan Trucking Company's been, triaxles been going back and forth, loaded across that thing every day, all day, every day. And they're putting in some load of material there, I looked in the specs and the zoning specs, and that does not, they're not considered local delivery, so they will not be usually on.
And there is alternative routes. It's not like we're making this impossible for people to get around, but we do want to protect our, our residents, our road, our infrastructure, and I think by doing this is, it's a no-brainer. If it's possibly a health issue, it could be, could cause problems. If it did collapse, obviously we could have a serious issue. So I did look at the law that Tyler actually pulled out his law book for vehicle weight limits. It just says the town board may temporarily exclude from the highway vehicles with gross weight limits of more than 4 tons of any vehicle with gross weight in excess of designated weight on any wheel axle upon the erection of signs on each section of the highway and publication of a notice in a newspaper published in the county. So basically it says if we want to post both sides of the road and publicize it in the paper, that's all we have to do and pass a resolution to temporarily lower the weight limit. So I think it's something, upon our recommendation of our engineer, I think it's something we should do immediately. And they did put in an estimate also. I don't know if that was part of that or it's on mine. There is an estimate in there, $120,000 if you look at the zeros, but it's $12,000 for the entire project to fix it, including engineering fees, the permitting, and blah blah blah.
Which I thought was very cheap.
Yeah, it sounds
A lot
like
cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
It is professional service. We may want to take and look at that. I mean, it's something we'll talk about budget time. It's not something we need to do immediately, but let's post the road, talk about budgeting it for next year. We'll put it in next year's budget, and we'll also, probably price, get a price on that, a couple prices on that. So
Actually, Tyler, wasn't there 2 parts of that the highway department could do some of it, but we had to bid out the other part?
As far as fixing the structure itself, that would have to be bid out. But the main, and George confirmed that the biggest problem is the erosion of the road at the bank. There's no shoulder holding the blacktop up. So every time someone makes a right cut, they're hugging the shoulder severely on the one side, and all that's doing is just shoving the road move further and further down the embankment. There's nothing there. There's a little sapling tree holding the whole thing. So it's, we need to, I have nowhere to put, I could go up to Stickles too and get block, which we've done that before, where I've worked before, but there's no room to even put that, to excavate enough for an area to even put retaining block,
So his price doesn't include that, building up the bank, right?
He talked about it in the,
Yeah, that's something we'll bid out. That's something we'll bid out.
but I think that should be done before the structure even gets fixed, because that right there is the dangerous part. Because the whole road is starting to crack and shuffle and scour. So that's like the biggest issue is that.
And it was actually 2 engineers that looked at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all both recommended a weight limit.
Did you were you sort of doing a review of roads and culverts and the like, and you came across this, or was it just something that
Well,
you
I-
noticed?
Well, I came across it one day when I went up there and I saw it, because you can, if you drive on it, you'll feel it do this.
Mm,
And I went, that doesn't look right. And then Adam also said that he saw it too before.
yeah,
My deputy
right.
said he saw it too before. So I said, let's take a look at this. So we went down and
Yeah.
that's what we found.
So at the very least tonight, I think I'd like to, ask the board to pass a resolution to temporarily restrict the weight limit to 5 tons on that road, and authorize Tyler to go ahead and get the signs. You can get the signs for these, or you order the
Yes, I
signs.
can. Yep.
Get the signs for this and post it immediately, and then we'll, like I said, we'll talk about the budget, move forward about budgeting this work to fix it for next year. And if you think it's more of an emergency than that, if you think we need to do something ahead of time, then let's go ahead and talk about maybe what we need to do to build that bank up a little
Okay.
bit temporarily, or something that'll reinforce it for now.
And if not, at least try to get them from cutting that corner so sharp too,
Yeah.
because it's right on a right turn.
I mean, is there
So they're
something,
gonna-
we can put, a couple hundred yards or 1,000 yards of fill in, just to widen it a little bit, to
Oh
build it up?
you could dump it in there, but it's gonna start. It's being as a straight drop right to the creek. I don't want to fill the creek up a
Yeah,
lot.
can't do that. No.
So, because then someone sees that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's right. So.
Okay.
Is there any width to the road where you could sort of line the road to move away from that side? I don't know if there's any.
Well, really, what they need to do, and what George was saying, is they need to build a wing wall out of concrete. They actually did all the way up the one side and then fill it in.
Yep.
And that would hold. And he said they would have to have also supports, concrete supports poured off of that to hold that wall.
Yep.
Right to the footing of the bridge.
That's gonna be more than $12,000, right?
Well, I would think so. Yeah.
Probably
Need a
like
resolution.
gussets on the
Right.
other side.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah, there's a motion, I don't know if we need
Yeah.
a resolution. We gotta do a resolution, because we're doing, we probably
Do a
should.
resolution.
Yeah,
Sounds
we'll
like
do
it's
it.
better off.
So we're filling 44 more.
We did 44, no? This will be 45.
Oh, okay, so this will be
45.
Can you talk to the company that's using it so heavily? Is that possible, or should someone reach out to them
So
directly?
this is
and ask
gonna prevent them from
a
using it.
temporary
Right, right.
reduction.
Yeah. This
them?
way.
Right, but it
limit
just
will-
until we get this, I don't know how long it'll take.
Yeah, I already talked to
To 5 tons.
what's the contractor up there? What's his name?
Pretty sharp?
Fast Tracks.
Oh, okay.
Fast Tracks up there. That's
So
what
is
it's
this
for.
a job that's gonna last much longer, or,
I think the structure itself will.
no, I mean the job at the top of the hill?
Oh,
that-
they're going to be there a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
What reaction did you get from
What's that? When I talked to them,
them? Yeah,
they said, "Well, what the hell do you expect us to do?" That's what they told me. I said,
Go
"Well, you can
around,
go in
go
from."
around.
That's what I told. I said, "You can go in off of 199 down Fitzsimmons Road." I said, "You can go that way too." I said, "Actually, it might even be faster for you because they're not trucking it in from Steve Williams or Red Wing, which is right down the road. So they're going down from Dutchess and coming all the way around." I said, "Well, I think 199 would be a little easier for you." So,
All right. Well, let's, do I have a motion to go ahead and do temporary weight reduction to 5 tons on Turkey Hill Road?
so moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. If you can get the signs and let me know once you post it, I will have the sheriff sit there for a few days after you post it,
okay.
so we can shut these guys down.
All right.
Because
There
you
is
know
a-
they're gonna keep going over it,
Yeah, they are.
so.
There is a process with the signs. They have to say new or notice above them for the first 3 weeks for like a month.
Yeah,
Then at the notice part, I can remove after that. They have to be posted as
So
a
2 signs
notice.
essentially.
Yeah,
One
well, they'll be on the
essential
same post,
Correct.
but
correct.
there's also space distance they have to. And I have all kinds of posts and stuff like that for them. So
Yeah.
I just gotta order the sign.
But
call them new.
you need the notice sign as well.
Right,
it also has to say accept local deliveries,
right.
that's in the,
That is in the okay,
engineer also put that in.
okay.
So public notice
Public notice.
effective immediately?
Effective immediately. Turkey Hill Road, temporary, I don't know if we want to even put temporary, but weight limit reduction to 5 tons.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So
say
weight limit
temporary,
reduction.
somebody's
Weight
got to
limit-
interpret
Weight limit
what that
reduction, 5 tons, yep.
Is there a name of the actual bridge, or is it just the bridge on Turkey Hill Road?
It's not even a bridge, it's actually a culvert, so it's not a.
It's considered a culvert, yeah.
So, no.
is. It's just a weight limit on Turkey Hill Road. Right?
So it's actually the road is reduced to 5 tons.
Right.
Now, being the town line is not too far from there on the top of the hill, I can call the town of Milan and see if they can let us put it further down. Too, I can do that too, because it's kind of, if a truck needs to turn around or something, they're not really gonna have a lot of room to
Space to
turn
do it,
around,
yeah.
so.
Right.
I can call town of Milan and see if they'll let us.
Wouldn't be bad to check on it, yeah, absolutely, because it'll save a big headache.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, so look at the signs and post that, and maybe we should talk to George to see if he has any recommendations on what to do temporarily to build it up without
Right.
affecting the stream. We can't affect the stream, so.
Yeah, that's a big deal right there, yeah.
So, he's looked at it, so maybe he's got some, maybe he can give some recommendations.
In fact, in there, just to do the work, he's gotta get a DEC and Army Corps permit,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. All right. Well, something we can budget for next year.
Just speaking of enforcement, I'm wondering, do we have any reports back, Ray, from, I've noticed, the car sitting at the park and, the Columbia County Police Department at the park, like doing speeding enforcement.
Oh.
So are you referring to the DA night? Where we,
To the, yeah, I assume, on DA night, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, wait a
Like
minute,
the
what are
one,
we talking about?
yeah, the monthly
Feedback,
enforcement
I have not. I know that they've written some tickets. I haven't asked them to go sit on the side roads yet.
Uh-huh.
They've basically been working on 9G. They haven't done a lot of tickets, but they've probably done enough to cover their salary.
Uh-huh.
So, which is really, I'm okay with that. But what I'd like to do is have them obviously sit around some of the side roads in
Yeah.
addition to when he can.
Mhm.
So I haven't had that conversation with him yet.
Okay.
I wanted him to get started, get things, see how things were going. A couple of times he was here and it was raining, so it was kind of tough. So he didn't write a lot of tickets, but I don't know. 3 days.
I thought I saw
not much,
on the
not much tickets.
on the voucher that I interpreted that way, that he had written 3 tickets. There was something on there towards the top.
I mean, when we asked him to do it, I told him, I says, I'm not looking for you to come down here and just write everybody tickets.
Right.
I want, number 1 was the court security, which is what we've accomplished. 2, I was just hoping he'd, find a few tickets to cover his salary. And I think he's done that, but I think he needs to do maybe a little bit more. And it's not the same guy every time either, which
Right.
makes it tough. Because it's whoever's a senior on duty, if they want the overtime, they get offered a job. So it's not one person we can say, hey, this is what I want you to do, each time you're here. So it makes it a little tougher. So, but we, I don't know. I didn't look at to see if you wrote down 3 tickets. I don't know.
That's what I interpret. Maybe I'm wrong. Here, number of UTTs issued? 3.
Maybe. What's the UTT? I don't even know.
Uniform traffic,
Ticket?
ticket, something like that. Oh, you probably know.
Uniform traffic.
Number of parking tickets issued 0, which you would expect out here. But when I saw that, that's what I interpreted that to be.
So he's writing down how many tickets he issued. Okay. So he wrote 3 tickets he issued that day. Well, that may cover his salary.
Spent a couple hours.
Maybe. Not quite. So, but it hasn't been what we wanted to do, on side roads. So I think that's going to be the next thing we put them on. So, okay. Supervisor report. I don't really have a lot. We just went over a lot of it. I do have a card here from Jimmy Potts. Dropped this off yesterday to the Claremont Town Board. Just like to thank you for your generous gift. Will come in handy. It's been a great collaboration working with you in the past 25 years. Wish all you the best. Thank you, Jimmy Potts Jr. So, thank you for gift to him, which is nice.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy. That's right. I'd just like to thank the highway department again for doing the park, taking care of the park again. I know Lindsay already thanked you guys, but we should really appreciate everything you guys can do for us over there and taking care of the property like usual. The mowing, it's been keeping up with the mowing. You know, so how's the new guy working out, by the way?
He's been all right.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Still getting everything done over there.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Which helps maintain the park.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Too
All right.
bad we can't have him run a mower. He'd be better yet.
Save you some more time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right. I do want to mention, I just found out this evening that we have a donation for the park again this year from Mr. and Mrs. Howard. That is a matching donation
Oh boy.
up to $5,000. So if we can come up with $5,000, they will match that donation for us,
By when?
which is fantastic. I think she said December 1st, which gives us a little bit of time. So I think we should be able to hopefully round up some donations. And I
Thank you.
certainly appreciate that again for continued support. Thank you very much. We will we'll certainly try to take advantage of that. Other than that, I guess that's about it. The soccer field is being used now. If anybody hasn't noticed, Saturdays, the Southern Columbia South Soccer League has been using it every Saturday now. They do hold games, I think 2 or 3 games during the day there. So they're there pretty much most of the day. We do have the Germantown Central School requested, they have a conflict with their field and asked if they could use our field for 1 game this year. So last year, I think, or 2 years ago, they used it quite a bit. This year, they only need to have 1 game there on September 20th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't think there's any issue with that. I was just going to check with Southern Columbia, make sure it was okay, because they don't usually have it during the week. They do some practices, but it should be fine. I will make sure that's okay. But the field is being used, which is nice. We haven't had as many leagues this year. Last year we had a couple travel leagues. The year before we had travel leagues playing there. We haven't had them this year, so the football was the last ones to use it. So it's great that anybody that can use it. That's great. So I'll let the Germantown school know they can use it that day. And again, Saturdays are very busy over there. I'm sure you probably seen Lindsay over there.
Mhm.
So.
That's great.
And I don't know, the grounds, have they been keeping it clean? I mean, have you noticed anything in the way, or garbage or
No,
anything?
no garbage. Not lately. No.
Okay.
Nope.
Good, because they're supposed to clean up, and they've been pretty good about that, so we appreciate that with them. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's move to a motion to pay abstracts.
Make a motion that we pay highway abstract number 9, vouchers 70 through 82, in the amount of $5,704.83.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion to pay trust and agency abstract number 5, 19 through 24 in the amount of $1,839.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion to pay general abstract 9A, vouchers number 222 through 236 in the amount of $4,125.76.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Anybody else have any, anything to bring before the board? We can entertain a public comment. Any public comment?
Yeah, I just have one small thing. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be doing a big ditching job over on Jug Road because they had eroding issues over there. So tomorrow we're going to be starting that. It's going to go down about 100 feet down the edge of the road. The ditch will be moved back and the shoulder will be renewed. And that's that. But it's going to take up most of that road just for the day. And I'm going to park the machinery over by the old barn.
Closing the road down, or?
I probably will for in the morning for like 2 hours or so.
Which
Yeah.
road is that?
Jug Road.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's it for me.
Okay. Anything else?
Just make sure you put something in the budget for a comprehensive plan. Is that it?
That will be coming up when we
I say
discuss
it every
it.
year.
I think it's time to create a reserve account and start putting a little money aside, since it's going to be expensive. That we will start putting some money away. Okay, if there's no other comment, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.